I'm Sinai Peter. I am the director of the play Pangs of the Messiah. Pangs of Messiah is a messianic expression describing the chaotic, catastrophical situation a minute before the Messiah appears. Realistic theater makes you work very disciplined because the play is very well made and you have to follow the behavior of the characters very carefully. They are very well written and you have to, if I may say so, you have to follow the instructions. How to deliver the atmosphere, where the context where we are so vividly live in, in 4 weeks and a half to a group of actors that had been collected on the basis of auditions, not because their knowledge of Israel.
You wonder why you get a part. Did I look the part? Was there something about me? Was I a good fit with other people?
I prefer sometimes realism because I can really work with human being psychology, which I like very much. The first or the second day I told them already that for me the characters don't exist by themselves. The junction where an actor meets a character, for me this is the dramatic junction. Otherwise the character doesn't exist. In order to get it, the actor should explore his privacy, his own biography. That's why I asked them one day to make a session of in what way they can tell us about the reference of the character to their own biography. And there were very interesting stories coming out from it.
When my husband first read the play, he said, "Well, Laura, you're playing yourself." Because there's a lot about Amalia that makes sense to me without having to think about it at all. The way she takes care of people, the way she's a little bossy.
Drink this.
I've already had one.
Then have another.
I'm not thirsty, I'm hot.
I'm not waiting all day for you to drink it.
More so than maybe a couple shows that I've done recently, these are more real.
Well, then you're probably right.
What?
It's in the case on the plate.
What are you laughing at? I won't lie down in the road in a new dress.
And you realize suddenly that it's almost a miracle, but every character has its own actor, or every actor has its own character, and they adopt somehow, although they met just by occasion.
My character is very important to the play. He's central to the play, and yet he's on stage for maybe 20 minutes out of an hour and 40 minutes. I'm not on that much. So if you wanted to go for more stage time or whatever else, then I should have read for Avner. But there was something that I was attached to in Benny, in reading his ultimate scenes. And he says, who here is a believer? Who is a Jew here? Who is a believer here?
And the moment they discover that they don't have to pretend to be somebody, or they have to adopt even an accent or a dialect, or to move like somebody that we have in our vision, but they have to draw it from themselves.
There is a part of me that really can identify with Benny, because if you were going to threaten me and my family, I'm not going to turn. I only have 2 cheeks.
In that position, what I, Lindsay, would become and how I would, would I take this path?
Then it became deeper. So I could move to the other step that you just mentioned and put a couple from the play pretending they attend a marriage counselor. I was the counselor, and trying to investigate them about their relations.
That blew my mind. That was really incredible.
Right, so before I've known that I'm going into these sessions, so I end up thinking about my answers ahead of time.
Such an opening exercise to do for that very intimate scene that we were then staging. Right before that rehearsal, Michael and I were sitting out here in the lobby saying, geez, the scene is barely 2 pages long. What are we going to do for an hour and a half?
He gave me some really good insights. As a leader, he's a man who's listening. He's a man who's always distracted. He's always got all these other things that are going on. But that as a leader, people come to you, and how do you create that?
Did the Prime Minister's office call? No.
So it was nice to just walk in and all of a sudden I have a therapist instead of a director.
And then there were some touching moments in this interview, and that I hope we will be able to, they will be able to use it, and I'll be delighted if they will do so.
Essentially free associate, you know, sort of be the character and, you know, think about who I am in the play and respond to Sinai's questions.
And also reminding me that I have to use the words I and me for Tirza, not she and her. That here's somebody that I need to take over, not play at, but play with.
Pangs of Messiah is not only a realistic play, it is also a theater of ideas. And sometimes they contradict or complete each other, I would say.
This is the sentence you prepared from okay. Hey, he stops you.
But in realistic play, because it is so detailed, so every move should be understood through psychological human nature development, or biography or background.
I need exactly that emotion that was triggered in me maybe in the callback, which is why I got the part, and the reason why this part won't be as hard for me as other parts that I've played, because there are things that he says that I do believe.
In all my works, I try that the actor will be very personal on stage, that you that sit in the audience will have the sense that it really happens. You'll ask yourself, maybe this is something private between these two actors.
It's like getting a good role in audition. I mean, you got it. I mean, your father found for you something to do. Right?
It's a rare director who can engineer an improvisation like that as deftly as Sinai did. Because he's also an actor, he was able to be the marriage counselor.
Very rarely it really happens, but I try to create the arena for it.
I think the evidence to the success of the process is on stage now. You see a real family. This was the main aim of the ensemble work, to create from 8 different people a united family. And I think this is a great thing that happened in the last 3 weeks. You behave, you live on stage. And I would say that most of the time that's what I experience when I watch the working, so I'm really fascinated by the working. And the response of the audience is very clear. The rewriting process never ended, even yesterday night. And I think it is a part of a worldwide premiere in a new language in front of new audiences. You always learn something from the responses of the audiences. And I should say that the 3 of us are very, very open. We get angry sometimes. We are arguing very severely, and yet we became a good team.